And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. How long is that? That spiel feels like it's 15 seconds. And it looks to be about 11 or 12. So there's that. This is a very late night recording. I am handling some business tomorrow. It's been 3 hours after work. I've been working hard. Hardly working or working hard. No, I'm working hard. Trying to do stuff at work. That's pretty much the only thing I do. So here we are, recording the Constitutionals late on a... You can hear the sound machine in the background, can't you? Yeah, you probably can. That's crazy. But who knows? This microphone surprised me when there was construction outside last week, and it was the loudest... or last week, 2 weeks ago, it was the loudest construction I'd ever heard in my life. And it barely picked it up because it was in Cardioid B. And there we go. That's going to be Cardi B's her specialty microphone. Cardioid B. It's her special microphone that only picks up her screeches. Skirt, screet. You know those noises she makes. Is that what Cardi B does? Hey, let's get moving on to the topics here as I open up the Google Drive and dig into the files that have the Constitutionals documentation. So I guess we'll go on this in the order. Since I'm not on the couch, or the futon, I can do whatever I want right now. Here we go. First things first. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Boy, oh boy, do I enjoy a good reference to J. Cole. Okay, this first story comes from the New York Times, written by Stephen Grosser, Grant Gold, and Aaron Griffith. Who's getting rich when Uber, Slack, and other unicorns go public? I take it to mean that unicorns to mean that they are these tech giants that have been ruling the app space for some time. Recently, as of late, Uber has gone public. They launched their IPO a little bit under what was rumored that what they wanted to be launched at. I think it was something around $45 instead of $48, which valued them at a certain amount of money. This is not I don't think this is the article when any Hoosers. So Lyft went public, I think it was a month ago at this point, and they have not been performing well. In fact, let me double check Lyft stock. Let's see, because I wanted to buy Lyft stock. I also want it. It's at 55.60. So they're doing decently. Let's see what they're doing better than what they were doing a couple of days ago. That's 5 days. Okay, let's do a month. Okay, so they are down from what they launched at. They launched at 60 something, but they're doing better. And this is not any this early stuff. This is not any indication of what it's going to mean for the company in the future. I mean, they're just valuing themselves so that they raise capital so that they can go public, and so people can buy more, and so they can be worth more, and so that I can have more money. That's how investing works. I'm very stupid, so that's how I think investing works. But Lyft was valued worth as much as $25 billion when it went public in March, and Uber was worth around $82 billion when it priced its public offering. So that's a little bit lower than what they wanted, which is what we'll remember. And this is from the investments. And we have Slack going public, or they went public, and there's someone else who went public. Who's thinking about going public? Well, anyway, all this to say is these tech giants going public, and trying to get these offerings and the IPOs. It's not working out very well, and this is kind of the first of their kind because they're like, we've never really had apps do something like this. Save for Facebook and all the other ones that are public. I think Twitter too. But these are app-based businesses that make a lion's share of their money via credit and investing and people using the apps and such. So it'll be very interesting to see where they can go from there, what this would mean for the business in the long run. Because once you go public, you've got to start innovating tenfold. Whereas they're a private company, they could have stayed doing if Apple was private, then they could make one iPhone a year still and make gangbusters. But it's in their best interest to be public, because that's how you make the money. Moving on. I don't have a lot of time here, so I can't really expand on things. Moving on. This week, or last week really, rather, and this week too, is the upfronts, television upfronts, where networks go out, they pimp themselves to ad buyers, and they say, "Hey, ad buyers, these are the shows we're gonna have, and this is what we're touting. We're touting these types of ratings. So please buy some ad time on our shows." And the ad buyers go, "Yes, golf clap, yeah." I've reported on this before several times, and that's what I am. I'm a reporter. So stupid. I've reported on this several times. And I've said that I've done stories on the for-your consideration events that have been extremely expensive and cost, as much as producing one television show for the broadcast networks, NBC, ABC, Fox, and CBS, Netflix, Amazon. They're gonna pull out all the stops this year in terms of giant. So what happens at these events, at these either at for consideration events for the Academy, for the Emmy voters, or these TV upfronts, they throw these big lavish parties, these networks do, and they just want to show people that they have these things. So moving on a couple of shows were canceled last week, but this pilot season, female directors, and this comes from Variety, written by Will Thorne, are going to see more representation gains. And this really goes in with I think I have another story. I don't. I think I talked about this story last week, where female directors, they have this whole initiative on NBC where they were doing these, where female directors were directing episodes of Blind Spot and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and all these other shows, and Superstore, which was a catalyst for it. But this one is such a great thing. I'm so glad to see all these female directors coming out, doing their thing. Real quick, it was announced that there's a shortlist for the new Batman movie, for Matt Reeves' Batman movie, and Robert Pattinson is at the top. It's Nicholas Hoult, Robert Pattinson, Armie Hammer, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. I only know this because I read the story about 10 minutes ago. I think it's ridiculous that Robert Pattinson is at the top. It should be Armie Hammer or Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think Nicholas Hoult is fine. He's my number 3, but it should be Armie, Aaron, Nick, then Robert. I don't know why Robert's in the conversation. I like him as an actor. I have no issue with him at all. Just don't think he should be Batman. Any Hoosers, and this comes from a guy who hasn't seen a superhero movie in a long time. No, that's not right. I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp a month and a half ago. Did not enjoy it. I'm sick of these superhero movies. With execs at the major broadcasters making decisions on the fate of pilots at this very moment, it's worth noting that 63 pilots ordered this season across the 5 major broadcast networks. So that includes the main 4 plus CW. 25 were directed by women. That's roughly 40%. Compare that to 2018's figure of 24 female directed pilots out of 75. That's 32%. And 2017, they only had 9% female directors across the pilots. What should be noted is, will this make the transition to, and similar thing would be with NBC's initiative for female. And let me just say this, let me preface the NBC's initiative with this. They did a comedy initiative for, I think, 2 years straight, where they requested pilots scripts be sent in by aspiring comedy writers, and nothing came of it. Nothing came from it for 2 years. Nothing came of it. So really, we'll see if this stands the test of time, if these women will be able to transition to more stable careers within a directing space. Should this be a one-off thing, then this is not going to help them. They can say, yes, I directed the Batwoman pilot for CW, but that means nothing in the long run. Like these women need to be able to get more consistent jobs. More jobs consistently. Oh, that's a good title. Jobs. Okay. I spelled consistently wrong. Despite two notable breakthroughs in June Wang and Jessica Yu, who are two of the first Asian American women to direct broadcast pilots in TV history, the proportion of female pilot directors of color has stalled, sitting at 5 out of 63, or 8%, the same proportion last year. The number of, let's see. Wang directed the untitled Jessica Gao project for ABC, while Yu helmed the pilot for NBC legal drama Bluff City Law, which was picked up a series. The number of number of black female directors has dropped from 3 in 2018 to just 1. Victoria Vic Mahoney for CBS Under the Bridge. Jesus. Wow, that's something I didn't even know. And Latina ones dropped from 3 to 1 too. Even LaGuardia did Glamorous this year. Oh, for CW. Oh my gosh. This is just disturbing. I didn't even read this article. This is really sad. This makes me feel very sad that we can't even get representation for women of color in directing. And this just harkens back to what I was saying about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Yeah, women, they think all women are represented in the show. No, they barely have black people on that show, let alone Latino and Asians and all these other races in there. It's crazy. You can't fight one fight. You got to fight all the fights. But then again, it's hard to fight all the fights at once. Sometimes it is just one fight. But right now, this is all the fights. This microphone keeps falling, and I keep having to scrunch it down, which is very important to note. Let's see. Katie Keene had a female director. That's a spinoff of Riverdale, a show that I stopped watching after episode 3, I believe. Some beautiful teenagers on that show, but not teenagers. I should not say that. Some beautiful people on that show. I don't want to watch it. It's too dramatic for me. What I wanted, and I thought about this the other week, what I thought Riverdale was going to be. 3 seasons in now. But what I thought it was going to be, there's a show that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s called, there's a hair on this microphone, and I just put it in my mouth. There's a show called Archie's Weird Mysteries, and it was basically Scooby, a little bit more adult Scooby-Doo, featuring Archie characters. I thought it was really cool. They should have done that, or an Afterlife with Archie TV show, if they're going to be this dark. But I don't like it. But you know what? A lot of people do. So there you go. A lot of beautiful people in that show. CBS has the most female directors overall, with 7 of their 16 pilots directed by women. There's Beth McCarthy, Pam Fryman. Oh, I know Pam Fryman. Yeah, she directed for NBC in 2017. I know Pam Fryman. I know her by name. Francesca Gregorini for ABC. Zoe Lister-Jones. She directed something. That was her own show called Woman Up, of course. She's great. Anyway, let's get some women behind the camera. Let's get some women everywhere. Let's do it. Moving on. Those brutal cancellations from last week. Very sad to see all these shows go. Lethal Weapon, Star, Empire's ending next year. 2 of those shows I didn't watch. I watched Lethal Weapon. I spent a lot of time on the show talking about Lethal Weapon. Murphy Brown was killed. Although they would, if it was up to CBS, they would not say. They would just say it's like a one-off season. It's a limited series. Let's see. Let's keep going. A lot of shows. I am so sad for Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon could have survived if they just had Clang Crawford and Damon Wayans sit down and talk. But they had to go and kill a main character, and then they aired it in such a disparaging way. 16 episodes, a couple weeks on, couple weeks off. I didn't like it. Happy Together star, speaking of Damon Wayans, his son, Damon Wayans Jr., and Amber Stevens West. They starred in Happy Together on CBS, got canceled. Fam was canceled on CBS as well. See, this is par for the course for CBS because they have multicams that air every single season, and a lot of them don't make it. But I'm very surprised that The Neighborhood made it. I think Gary Cole was in this show called Fam with Nina Dobrev from Game of Thrones, which harkens back to my theory that if you're on a very popular show like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, you're never going to be like, that's the height of your career. It's all going to be plateaued or downhill, which is sad, but it's funny. I mean, but it's true. It's funny, which is funny, but it's sad and true. Well, I mean, look at the Kid Harington. He's not going to have another hit. Pompeii, come on. Massey Williams, yeah, sure, she's one of the most popular little women in the world. I don't know, but come on. Lena Headey? Well, no. The guy who plays Nicholas Wojciechowski, who plays Jaime Lannister? No. None of these people are gonna have any like Sophie Turner. Yes, she's gorgeous. She's married to a Jonas, I think, and you can have all the money in the world. These people have all the money in the world. They're just not going to be able, with the exception of Peter Dinklage, who I think can land any role he wants. But everyone else, they're just not going to be able to recover from this. No offense to them. Any Hoosers. Gary Cole was in Fam with Nina Dobrev. Both of those people I like. And that show was canceled. I didn't even know it was on. I knew it was going to air at some point. I saw a trailer a couple of months ago. I didn't know it was on. Or else I would have checked out the pilot. Happy Together was fine. I love Damon Wayans Jr. and Amber Stevens West. They're both great people. The Fix was canceled. Marvel's The Gifted was canceled on Fox, which sucks because that show has from day one has been in my Hulu queue from the first episode, and like every day, every single. I would always think, like, every month I'd be like, okay, it's time to watch The Gifted, and I go, nah, I don't feel like watching a drama right now, an hour-long drama, and that's why I never watched that show. Cool Kids was canceled. I Feel Bad was canceled on NBC, although that was kind of, if you're asking me, that show was canceled a long time ago. I Feel Bad, no offense. Cool Kids had a good group of actors too. Let's see. Let's see. Let's keep going. Jane the Virgin was canceled. The Big Bang Theory was canceled. Gotham canceled. Elementary canceled. I mean, we knew those shows were ending, though. Those shows were planned to be ending. Speechless was canceled. Very sad. Very, very sad day for me. But their third... Oh, this is disrespectful, what this person wrote on Deadline. The Minnie Driver-led Speechless is going silent after 3 seasons. Okay, come on. It's about a kid with cerebral palsy and he can't speak. Come on, guys. There's a time for jokes, and the time is not now. The time is 10:42. I'm wearing a watch. I don't know why I looked over at the Home Hub. Google renamed its Home Hub to the Google Nest Hub. NBC's Trial and Error was canceled. That was canceled a long time ago. Life in Pieces was canceled after 4 seasons, and it's currently airing its 4th season right now. So now I have to subscribe to CBS All Access just to watch that, the last season. It's a great show. Check it out. But we knew that was canceled a long time ago. We know these things are canceled if they don't air for a long time and no one says anything about them. Whiskey Cavalier was canceled. Never seen that show in my life. I don't want to talk about Constance Wu because after reading about her, I have... I don't want to talk about it. She tweeted angry thing. If you don't know, Constance Wu, star of Fresh Off the Boat with a bunch of other people, including Randall Park, Chelsea Crisp, and Ray Weiss. And she tweeted when the show was renewed a bunch of I don't want to be on the show things, and then she came back and said, no, I was just very frustrated, and I really love being on the show, but and this is very important, she said, but this working on the show stopped me from doing this big special project I wanted to do. And a lot of people called her out because there's a lot of actors in the world who can't even land a job, and she's complaining that she has one and she can't do another job. She has a good paying job. You know how much a 22 episode series pays on broadcast? Insane numbers. And she got to do Crazy Rich Asians, and she has 2 more Crazy Rich Asians coming. Like, come on. Apparently she's really difficult to work with. I'm not going to... Those are just rumors. I don't know. But still, it's very strange to see. I want to skip ahead really quick before I get to these last 2 stories. Speaking of broadcasting, this comes from Deadline, written by my good friend, Nelly Andriva. CW Netflix deal is not being renewed, with networks' new shows to be shopped individually. So, a couple of years ago, in 2011, the CW and Netflix got together, and CW said, hey, why don't we... No, was it 2011? Yeah, it was 2011. Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and take our shows and put them on Netflix? And Netflix said, all right, cool. And then they also said, but wait a minute, wouldn't it be great? Because we're young, we're hip, we're teen-centric. Or we have the 18 to 34 demographic. Wouldn't it be great if we took our show's end, in May sometimes, mostly May. What if we took that show and 8 days after it aired, we put it on Netflix? And Netflix said, even better, baby. They shook hands, they spit in hands, and they shook hands and cut each other's hands and shook hands again. They shook hands 3 times. And that's the deal that was started. After 8 days, shows that were on CW that ended their seasons would move on to Netflix. So you can watch them all. You can watch everything there within a matter of 8 days. And then that deal was redone again in 2016. And I believe at that time, in 2016, is when the CW removed its shows from Hulu. It didn't do a pact with Hulu. Keep in mind, CW is owned by CBS and Warner Media. It wasn't say Warner Brothers, but I think it's now just Warner Media. So now these new shows that the CW is doing, Batwoman, Katie Keene, and the new Nancy Drew series, which I'm sure is going to have all beautiful people, and it's all going to be about sex and betrayal or some crap. They're all going to be shopped individually. So the Batwoman series could eventually, probably will, go to DC Universe, the streaming site. Katie Keene could go to Hulu. Nancy Drew could go to Amazon. And then as for the shows that are already from the CW that are on Netflix right now, they're most likely going to stay there for the rest of their eternity. But we're no longer going to get immediately 2 weeks after the season finale airing. We're not going to get that anymore on Netflix. So there you go. It was a beneficial pact. This comes from Nelly. The relationship has been beneficial to both sides. Riverdale's ratings spiked at the start of season 2 on the CW, was attributed to the exposure of the first season on Netflix. There's only 13 episodes then. Now it's a 22 episode series. 22 episode season. The end of the CW deal is certainly a blow to Netflix, but not unexpected. Disney is going to put out Disney Plus. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that I already know about. And then soon Office and Friends is going to leave. So we know these things are going to leave. I'm going to say it one more time, and I'll probably say it again for every episode for the rest of this show's run. Netflix should just get into the originals game. Stop acquiring stuff. I understand it's very important to you to have acquisitions, but it just doesn't make sense anymore in a world where it's all about premium shows. I was going to say content, and I was going to punch myself in the face. It just doesn't make sense to me. They should just rely on their power, which is their reachability, because Netflix is everywhere, and it's cheap. It's still $12 as of this recording. In 2 years, it'll probably be $15. Actually, no, I think it's $13 now. It's supposed to go up $1. Regardless, in 2 years' time, in a year and a half, because they just changed the price. In a year and a half, 2 years' time, it'll be $15. Count on it. I think one of the things I think is that there are two things that can really set a streamer apart from another streamer. Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Crackle, the rest. There's one thing that YouTube has that none of these streamers have, and it's the ability to speed up their videos. And I understand sometimes, well, actually, you should never watch a TV show with sped up. That's what I do for work. I watch TV shows that are sped up, essentially, that are 1.5 times their speed. But YouTube, I subscribe to Google Play Music. I get to watch all the YouTube videos I want with no ads. So that means I watch a lot of tech reviews and a lot of video game reviews. I don't watch gameplay because I'm not 15 years old or 7 or however old the demographic is. But it's very useful to hit the 1.5 times speed, or sometimes 1.75 or times 2, and see these videos that are 10 minutes long be shortened down to 6 minutes because I sped it up. And I can understand it and I can get it all. So I think that a streaming app that can adopt that in a way, skipping over an intro sequence, yeah, that's cool. Having autoplay, yeah, that's cool. Having another lineup, like in like Hulu, Hulu has the next episode of the show, and then after that it has shows that it think you'll like. That's cool. But the ability to speed up a show, or a movie, that's really cool. That's amazing. That's thing. And then the second thing I think would be good for a streamer to adopt. Jesus Christ almighty in heaven. Slamming doors like you never lived. Another thing that I think that would be interesting for a streamer to adopt would be live sports, obviously. Whoever does that first and cheap. Obviously, you can get ESPN Plus, but I'm talking about the big boys. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. All right. Moving on. I don't want to dwell on this too much. But we got some more layoffs over at Disney/Fox. I think it was last month or the month before that Disney fired about 4,000 people with job redundancies within the company. This week, 5,000 people lost their jobs. So that's 9,000 people. At some point, it's going to be 10,000, because how dare they end at 9? So there's going to be more layoffs coming. It's just sad to see this. But hey, Deadpool gets to kiss Spider-Man and flick Hulk's butt. Whatever they do, whatever these things do anymore. I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad to continue to see these things fail. And also learn that when The Simpsons isn't going to be on FXX anymore. I guess Family Guy's taking that slot, and Bob's Burgers too. Simpsons is moving over to Freeform, which I don't understand why. Wouldn't it do well on FXX, or couldn't it do well on both? But no, they're moving over to Freeform, and they're probably not going to have all the marathons, obviously, and it's probably going to air once or twice a week, if that. Sucks. And finally, this comes from Adweek, written by Jason Lynch. After honing TBS's comedic voice, Warner Media risks damaging the brand by adding dramas. It's very late. I should go to bed. So it was announced at this week's Upfronts that TBS is canceling a bunch of shows, including Andrew Tribeca and some other shows. But oddly enough, it renewed a show that was supposed to be a limited series called Miracle Workers with Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi. Yeah, it's pronounced Buscemi. And a bunch of other people. It's a great show that I didn't finish. But so they canceled a couple of comedies, not a bunch, just a couple of comedies. And they moved Samantha Bee to 10 p.m. I really think that TBS should pick up Busy Phillips' show. I think that'd be a great get for them. And they can have Samantha on Wednesdays and Busy on Tuesdays. Just knock her down to one episode a week. But it could be like a live type thing. Well, no, people are busy. But now TBS is going to get some corporate synergy from AT&T's Warner Media. And they're going to bring in some dramas from other networks. And by other networks, I mean networks that are within the Turner family. Warner Media unveiled plans at its own presentation Wednesday morning to begin blurring the branding of its own biggest networks, a risky move that could undo years of effort to craft TBS's comedy brand. And that's because TBS will begin airing original dramas next year, starting with Snowpiercer, which is based on a 2013 movie. Snowpiercer is based on is coming from the TNT network. Is not doing well over there, so they said, "Hey, why not move it to TBS, the comedy network?" This comes from Kevin Riley, president of TBS and TNT and chief creative officer, Warner Media, direct to consumer. Here we go. That's a very long title. Part of the transformation is how we think about networks. We're going to be more flexible in our programming strategy and go where the audience is and use every programming tool and asset we have to maximize delivery and connection. TBS, TNT, and True TV are stronger if they're less bound by a single brand position or genre. Oddly enough, two of those are comedy channels, True TV and TBS. Let's see. Riley said he'll use March Madness and its audience of 125 million, including next year's NCAA Men's Championship game, to launch Snowpiercer next spring. The same approach that boosted TBS comedy The Last OG 2 years ago. But dramas won't be the only genre suddenly popping up on TBS. The network will simulcast the upcoming TNT series Chasing the Cure Live, which host Ann Curry called, I don't really give a crap. It's very sad that they're doing this. I don't understand why they want to do this. But you know what? Whatever. Riley acknowledged that TBS is a top 5, quote unquote, top 5 network on cable, but if viewers who expect to find comedy on the network instead tune in and discover new laugh-free content, they may go elsewhere for the comedy needs, which is great news for Comedy Central and IFC. Yeah, I don't approve of this. This is stupid. This is like when Viacom, this corporate synergy thing that these networks do, where they think airing the same episode of a show simulcast on multiple networks is easy for everybody. It's not. Viacom did that on TV Land several times. TV Land and BET and Comedy Central and all these other the networks that they own, and Nickelodeon, all the networks they own, they'll air, and CMT, they'll air like Nashville. Like if it's a season premiere, they'll air Nashville on every single one of those channels, or they'll air when Jim Gaffigan had a show, the Jim Gaffigan show. They aired all of that. It's just it's so frustrating to see all this happen, and for them to think, oh, this will be good. This is what's going to beat streaming, or this is what's going to compete with streaming, because at this point they can't beat streaming. Anyway. Listen, it's late, so I gotta go to bed. If you like what you heard here or saw, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com. It's back up now after a couple of weeks down. And now Squarespace is charging me $6 more to keep it up. I was paying the $10 that I was paying 6 years ago, and now it's $16. Jesus. Good Lord, man. That's crazy. cpluscomedy.com has got some stuff over there. Head on over to youtube.com/cpluscomedy to see a video version of the show, as well as News Time. This week's News Time is about joke theft. Conan was he's going to be in a joke theft trial, and then he settled out of court. And then I wrote a story about why joke theft exists. Why we take it seriously, actually. I'm sorry. Not why it exists. Why we take it seriously. And I've already shot next week's episode. Believe it or not, it's Thursday. I haven't shot an episode ahead of time in months. Yeah, really a long time. I haven't done it in a long time. I shot one ahead of time. Like I said, I got some stuff to do. It's sad stuff. So, I don't know why I'm laughing. Definitely check it out. It'll be next week. Okay, shut up. All right, I'm going to go to bed. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.